All right, let's go ahead and get started. It is 1:30, so we will call the meeting to order. First up is the approval of the August 2024 minutes. Sorry about that. Councilmember Lawson, are you okay with the minutes?
I'm good with the minutes.
I am as well, so those are approved. Um, Next up, moving into the consent items, Bill Levine with the August 2024 sales tax chart.
Great, and thank you, Candace, for putting that up. Thank you, committee, for putting up with me. You're gonna hear me. I'm gonna really sound like a broken record because I'm gonna tell you essentially the same kind of thing I tell you almost every month. So I almost always start out with a message of please don't overfocus on a single month of sales tax. And lo and behold, I'm going to start off with saying, please don't overfocus on a single month of sales tax. So we had a really good month in August. You can see that there. We had growth of 14.4%. We collected about $26 million of sales tax in the month of August. And so that was excellent growth. But let me sort of tell you why I say don't overfocus on a month. And if you look at that chart, and I really want you just to focus on the year 2024, we've really fallen into a very predictable pattern. And I'm going to remind you as I talk about the pattern that this year, the taxation division switched the filing frequency of many of our taxpayers and moved people who were annual payers and quarterly payers to being monthly payers, consistent with our rules on the sort of the size of a company, the size of collections you need to have to be a monthly payer or to be less than a monthly payer. And so when we straightened that out, we had a lot of people, again, moved from being either annual or quarterly to becoming monthly. And so what you see in April when we had a 3% decline is we had less people who are now quarterly payers. That's normally a month when the first quarter ends at the end of March. They submit their taxes in April for the first quarter. And with less quarterly payers giving us 3 months worth of collections, we had a decline. And the same thing happened at the end of the second quarter. So that's in July, we had the very similar 3% decline. The sort of the opposite side of that same coin is that with more monthly taxpayers in those months, we're now getting more collections in months like February, March, May, June, August, again, just like that. So we have more people giving us sales tax every month as opposed to quarterly. And it's really affected the timing. One of the interesting things, I did an analysis and looked at the number of taxpayers we have in all of the months in 2024, all of the months in 2023. And what I'm considering a taxpayer, any payment we had, whether it was a few cents or it was hundreds of thousands of dollars, I just counted up how many people are paying us in each of the months. And in May, June, and August, we had about 30% more people giving us some sort of remittance of sales tax than we had in 2023 same month. So back to my point, we're getting more people each and every month giving us sales tax, but those end of quarter months have been the poor months. So I feel like if we extended that chart that you're looking at, September is going to be another good month. October is going to be the end of the third quarter. It's going to be a poor month. We can kind of sense this pattern now that's happening. To put this point all together, I've developed a projection plan, and we're at a point now where we leave the budget numbers behind and we move to a projection. The projection plan is now trying to anticipate the very pattern that I'm talking about. And we are a little bit over the projection plan. On the top right of the corner, there's a little box that kind of lays this out. We're about $650,000 above the projection plan. So that's the good news. We are doing a little bit better than we thought, but not a lot better than we thought. We're really roughly where we need to be, just a little bit ahead of where we need to be. So that should all be taken as good news. But again, don't overreact. 14.4% might make you think we have lots and lots of extra money to spend or something like that. That's really not the case. This is supposed to have been a good month, and we know that there's going to be, at the end of the third quarter, for example, another bad month. And so it's sort of where we average. And so you can see in the bottom right of the chart, we're averaging about 4.4% growth year to date. That's right where we need to be. So again, I'm going to summarize all of the months together. We're right on plan with where we should be. And with that big picture, I'm going to leave it at that. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to hang around and answer questions about that.
Great. Thanks, Bill, for the explanation on kind of the up and down. Appreciate that. Councilmember Lawson, any questions?
I have no questions.
All right. Thank you for the presentation. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up, 4A 2024-2025 City Pay Table Resolution.
Yes. Good afternoon, Chair and City Council members. I'm Max Agronin, Senior Compensation Analyst with the Human Resources Department. Annually, in collaboration with the annual budget process, Human Resources prepares an updated pay table and submits the pay table with a resolution for City Council's approval. To sustain the compensation and classification structure adopted by the city and to ensure competitive and fair wages are offered, Human Resources conducts a review of comparable benchmark positions to appropriately set our pay ranges. The pay table in your agenda packet is the proposed pay table based on our annual review of benchmark positions and sets our pay ranges to be competitive with the market. Happy to answer any questions you may have at this point, but the question for council is whether the policy committee approves moving the resolution and proposed pay table forward to study session for council's review and approval.
Thanks, Max, for the presentation. My only question, when you're looking at comparables, are you just looking at similar positions in other municipalities, or do we try, when possible, to compare to private sector positions as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So our market aggregate data does take into account some private sector companies when available.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Councilmember Lawson, any questions?
No, I have no questions and I'm approved moving this forward.
I'm okay with moving this forward as well. Thank you for the presentation, Max.
Thank you.
Let's see, get back to my agenda. Next up, Andrew Jameson. And Andrew, if you'd like, we can, or if you want to present on these 4B through 4G together, because they're all relatively similar. So if you want to just kind of give an overview of what we're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, I'm Andrew Jameson, Treasury Supervisor. The next agenda items are the 6 GID budgets. GID is a General Improvement District. It's a layer of government for these various neighborhoods that voted to tax themselves for various improvements, such as fences and sewer systems and things like that. This ordinance before you authorizes the 2025 budget for us to collect the mill levy and service the debt associated with those improvements, which is something that we do every single year. I'll kind of leave it at that, and if let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like me to go into any more detail.
Great. Appreciate the presentation. Councilmember Lawson, any questions?
I have no questions.
And are you okay moving these forward?
I'm approved moving these all forward.
And I do as well. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Well, pretty darn quick meeting today, gang. So I guess our next meeting is scheduled for October 22nd. And with that, everybody have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.